You're listening to Radio MD. What's good and good for you? Why, Family Food Kitchen, of course. Here they are, Ellen Briggs and Carolina Jantak.
Truth is, we can prevent and fight diseases like cancer. I mean, they say that 90% of diseases are preventable by the way we take care of our bodies, and that especially includes what we put in our bodies morning, noon, and night. But there's one food that is so powerful, it's the one that bumps up to the top of our list. Carolina, that one is spinach. Now tell us, I know Popeye used it for muscles, but what in the heck is so special about spinach that if we ate it every day, we would be in a really good position to prevent illnesses, especially cancer?
Yeah, I'm so glad we're talking about spinach because I feel like it got put in the corner when kale came around.
Oh, it did.
And nobody puts spinach in the corner.
Not a good thing to do.
Movie. No, spinach is fantastic. Spinach was probably the picture on the dictionary when you talk about super greens. There should be a big picture of spinach right there. Spinach, let me start from the top. It's high in protein. Go figure. It's actually the highest vegetable serving protein per serving. Wait, I put that all wrong. When you talk about vegetables, spinach comes right on top when you look at grams of protein per serving. I'm so excited I'm getting jumbled. But anyways, that's a big deal. A lot of people don't think about it, but 1 cup of spinach can have up to 12% of your daily value of protein for an average adult. So that's a big deal, right? Especially for people looking for more protein. It's super high in vitamin A. It has vitamin K, second only to cauliflower, by the way. It's a great source, and here's the best one, especially for pregnant or nursing women. Great source of folic acid. Great source. That's fantastic. It has magnesium, iron, potassium, vitamin C, manganese. Has some good amount of fiber in there. And last but not least, carotenoids and flavonoids, which are responsible for a lot of the reasons why spinach improves your health.
Okay, so that's that's totally convincing. No question. I think a lot of people do know spinach is good, but now we've explained why it goes to the top of our list, especially that high protein count, which, it's just, I think people are like, really? I can get that much protein with just spinach? But people want to know, is it make a difference if you buy it fresh or frozen? And I'm going to throw another one in there. Does it make a difference if it's organic or not?
Right. Well, you mentioned cancer in the beginning of the segment, but it does so much beyond that. It protects against heart disease. It protects against age-related memory loss, eye health. It's an anti-inflammatory, great anti-inflammatory. So think about like arthritis, for example. Helps with strong bones. So it's anti-osteoporosis. The cancer, like you mentioned, there's just so much. And when you talk about cooked or raw, that's where these things play a factor. That's why I wanted to list them, because the short answer is actually both. When you cook spinach, it releases some of the beta carotene and lutein, which neutralizes the oxalic acid. So not to get too fancy with words here, but basically those are compounds that tend to inhibit the absorption of calcium and iron. So we don't want a lot of them. So when you cook, it releases some of the good stuff and also helps neutralize some of the bad stuff. So that's great. But remember, when you're cooking, boil it for just a minute, no longer. Don't overdo it, because then you're draining all the nutrients out of it. But the raw kind is especially good for people looking for vitamin C and folate, because those are heat sensitive. So when you do cook, you will lose some of them. So you want to do a combination of both raw and cooked. And when you buy it fresh or frozen, whatever you can get your hands on, just go for it. Even if you buy fresh, you can even freeze. I found that if I buy a really big bag of spinach at the store, it saves me money, but not always I can get to the bottom before it starts to wilt. So I'll throw it in the freezer, and then I can throw those into smoothies. So you can actually freeze fresh spinach, and it works out just fine. Did I answer everything? There was one more, right?
Well, organic. Does it matter if it's organic or not?
All right. Well, the problem with leaves is what it gets sprayed on them and what kind of disease they may carry. So always check the Dirty Dozen list. It does change all the time, so you want to check it. But as with every fruit and vegetable, if you have the option and the price is right for you, choose organic. It's just always a better choice.
Okay, I eat sweet spinach every day. I eat raw all the time. I never eat cooked, and I should because you just gave me good reason to do that. So I will start doing more of that. And you said boil, but I know you're a big steamer, so steaming is probably the best way. But if it's just steaming, do you just put a little salt on it or nothing? Or how do you steam spinach and have it be delicious for your family to say, oh, I need seconds on this? What do you do?
I know. Well, you're right that I eat raw a lot. When I do cook it, it's more like it's part of a recipe. So I don't necessarily do a lot of just steaming the spinach or even just sautéing the spinach. A lot of people like sauté spinach with olive oil and salt. I mean, it's
oh,
really
I do
good.
that.
Yeah, you see that even in restaurants as a side dish. But when I do cook spinach, it's like part of an omelet or part of a quiche or something like that. So I do like finely chopped or put it in the food processor, and then it just goes into the cooking process. Does that make sense?
Sure it does. Sure it does. But give me a recipe now. I mean, we can put it on top of pizza. All right, I know that one.
Yeah.
Do you use it in casseroles? Do you use it for casseroles?
Absolutely. So spinach is probably one of the most versatile leaves there are out there, okay? It's not super bitter. It's not going to leave a lot of flavor, different kind of bitterness or flavors to interact with other ingredients that you put in there. So when you finally chop spinach, you can add it to just about anything. There's actually a recipe that I really like that I put spinach through, like sort of like a bullet, a blender kind of thing to make it into a puree, spinach puree with just a tiny bit of water. And I add that to even pancake batter to make, to make green pancakes or green eggs and ham day. I use spinach puree to color. So, all it really does is add that rich green color, but it doesn't add that much flavor to it. So you can put spinach in just about anything. I found a really fun recipe from thekitchenismyplayground.com, and it's called spinach balls. And I've actually done this recipe myself. She uses stuffing and mixes it with frozen spinach and eggs and Parmesan cheese and makes these little balls and takes it to the oven, and they're great party appetizers. I don't use the stuffing. I tend to use a grain. So either I'll do like freekeh or I'll do like a whole wheat grain. So a brown rice I can do. I use quinoa sometimes. Whatever grain I can get my hands on. I use a simple grain instead of the stuffing. But the stuffing idea is really good, especially if you have a good quality stuffing to start with.
You know what? I bet kids would eat that for breakfast. I would eat that for breakfast. But if they're in a hurry and running off to school, you can make those spinach balls, and they would get a ton of nutrients in there. That's really cool. I think it's a great idea. How about spinach soup? Yeah. I like spinach soup.
Oh,
it's really nice.
I know. I shared a recipe not too long ago on the RadioMD blog, as well as their Pinterest page, of my green smoothie eaten as a soup, and it had a ton of spinach in it. And you pretty much just put every leaf you can inside a blender, and I added some tahini for flavor to make it creamier too. And then you put it in a pot and warm it up, as opposed to doing it as a cold smoothie. And for those cold mornings, it's actually really comforting, and I really enjoyed it, and so did my kids. When it's hotter, though, I found my perfect combination is a mango and spinach smoothie. I don't know why, but for some reason, the mango and spinach, I mean, if you've never tried, Ellen, go make a mango and spinach smoothie.
Will.
It's just
I'm
so
going
good. It's
Man,
really good.
I never thought of that.
I know.
Well, we're out of
all
time.
these recipes that we talked about today, I know, all the recipes I talked about today is on that Pinterest page I mentioned, and that's on RadioMD.com Pinterest page, and there's a board there that says Family Food Kitchen, and you'll find all our recipes over there, so make sure you visit that. Remember, we're always on RadioMD.com for some of our past episodes you want to listen again or share with a new friend that has never listened to us before. Make sure you eat well and stay well.